Hey guys, I'm Jordy, and this is a super quick, hardcore dungeon guide to the maze-like, druid-infested Wailing Caverns. Some of you might be asking, Jordy, why do I need a dungeon guide for a dungeon I've run a billion times? Well, as you're likely playing a one-life character for this, there are a few edge case things that you'll want to know how to avoid, and oh boy, does Wailing Caverns have a bunch of them. Okay, let's dive in. First, this dungeon is safest with a group in their low 20s. 19 is fine, but your tank should be on the higher end as one of the bosses, Verdan the Ever-Living, hits really hard, so make sure you can take those hits safely. Now, Wailing Caverns is primarily run by Horde players as it's located in the Central Barrens, but if you're Alliance, you might be interested in heading there for loot or for dungeon experience to break up the low 20s. If that's the case, the best way to get there would be to start in Darkshore, run south through Ashenvale, sticking close to the road, and then south at this point, hugging the left to avoid the guards and entering the Northern Barrens. From here, just run south, avoid running through the crossroads, and boom, there you go. Now there's another route if you're feeling spicy that involves swimming south from Southern Westfall all the way to Booty Bay, but I wouldn't recommend this unless you know exactly what you're doing. It involves hugging the fatigue line and avoiding Murloc patrols. Okay, so there are a few quests worth mentioning. The biggest ones being Leaders of the Fang for the Horde, which rewards some nice blues, and Deviant Hides for both factions that rewards a 10-slot bag if you're lucky enough to complete it. And I say lucky because if all 5 of you are on this quest, it's highly unlikely anyone will actually finish it from one clear. You can, however, kill mobs outside of the instance for these, so consider sticking around as a group or in pairs after the dungeon is done to finish this one up. That 10-slot bag is juicy. There are other quests as well. Check out Wowhead for a full list. Alright, so we meet up with our group outside of this Skull Rock near the meeting stone and then head inside, clearing all the way up to the entrance before stepping in. As you move in, you'll see the Disciple of Neralex. If you don't have a druid, talking to this guy will give you a Mark of the Wild buff. Nice. Okay, we clear through to the first big room, and from here you have a few options. I'd recommend clearing this top ring first, going left and then around to the right. Each of these rings of torches has a chance to spawn Lady Anaconda, your first boss. No big deal, she just sleeps, so make sure you dispel it. One thing to watch out for are these raptors, the Deviant Guardians. They will call for help when they get low on HP, which even works through walls, so make sure that you pull them pretty far back to avoid pulling anything you aren't prepared for. Okay, we clear around the ring. If you're Horde and kill Lady Anaconda, don't forget to loot your gem from her. Then we head back to the left here and through this cavern, up the hill and around back to Lord Cobron. He's not too scary. Kill the snakes first and dispel or interrupt the sleep. Remember, loot your gem. Now we head back down the hill toward the large room we came in from, looking for the neutral turtle Kresh, hoping for that big blue shield drop, and then from here we continue forward and into the main thrust of the instance. Alright, so this place can be pretty maze-like. It's very easy to get turned around and find yourself at a fork in the road that you were just at. If you've got someone who knows this place well, great, follow them. But if not, there's actually a trick to this. These little clusters of mushrooms. If you follow these little guys, you'll run by every boss and eventually to the top of the cavern where Verdan the Ever-Living stands guard. So stick together, follow the mushrooms, and stay alive. Okay, so we've got a lot of trash between you and this next boss, Lord Pythus, with the occasional wandering patrols and AoE plant sections. Just sheep targets, pet tank, whatever, and methodically work your way up through the cavern. When you get to the green tunnel, turn into it and clear up through this section before reaching this torchlight area where Lord Pythus hangs out. They likely come with these 2 mobs as well, so CC one, kill the other, and then focus on Pythus before finishing off the final mob. And remember, loot your gem. Okay, up to the right, being extra careful about how you pull this stuff because you don't want things to run and get more, and remember to keep following those mushrooms. You'll eventually find yourself looking at Scum in his pen guarded by 2 Druids of the Fang. Kill them, then him, and turn right to the final area at the top of the instance, When you reach here, be extra careful at this waterfall where you'll need to jump the gap. If you do fall at full HP, you won't die, but you will be very close to it, so make sure you watch this jump carefully. On up through here until we get to the top and find another torch ring containing Lord Serpentis. You can actually pull these two mobs on the left without aggroing him, so try to, but if he does come, don't panic, just CC one, kill the other before getting on Serpentis himself. Good luck on that bow, hunters. Okay, now Verdan the Everliving. In my opinion, this is the scariest fight in here. He hits really, really hard, so tanks, be prepared with a potion and whatever you need to survive. A shield is highly recommended here, maybe a food buff, anything to increase your HP. One thing you can do as a hunter is use your pet first to tank, then when it dies, you have him swap to the real tank. This will help give you time to do some good damage. Okay, down he goes. But you aren't actually done. Everyone drop down this shaft behind Verdan and hit the water, moving all the way back to the entrance of the dungeon before, as a group, speaking to the disciple that buffed you in the beginning. This begins an escort that you'll want to do that leads him around the upper ring here and into this watery area where you'll fight waves of mobs before finally facing this big Murloc boy, Mutanus the Devourer. Mages, be careful here. You don't want to threat too hard from your tank, just single target and do your best to clear these waves quickly. Then finally Mutanus. They'll mind control people, but if you hit them, it will break, so smack them a tiny bit to free them before returning to the boss. Down he goes, and voila, you've cleared Wailing Caverns. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor and like and subscribe. I'll have more dungeon guides coming soon, and knowing you guys like these will make sure I finish the series up, all the way to 60 and beyond. And while I can help you in these dungeons, I can't keep you safe out there in Azeroth at large. But fear not, Rested XP has you covered. Their hardcore leveling guides are easy to use, meticulously crafted by some of the world's fastest and most experienced levelers, all to keep you safe and quickly get you to 60. There's stuff like logout skips, dangerous enemy warnings, and more, all wrapped up in one easy-to-use add-on. Just trust the arrow and keep your head on a swivel. I've got a link in the description below to help you find it. Thanks again to everyone whose clips I used in this. I've linked their channels in the description below. Alright, that's it for me. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next guide, the Spooky Shadowfang Keep.